What's up guys, my name is Ace, and a couple days ago with the launch of Season 3, there were a bunch of weapon and attachment balancing changes that went through, and at first they weren't included in the patch notes and therefore they weren't included in my patch notes video, but Sledgehammer did later amend the patch notes to add these weapon balancing changes, and that's what we're going to be covering in today's video. There's definitely some interesting balancing changes here. Some of them were quite surprising to me, and there's a few of them that are going to have some serious impacts on how you use these weapons. So let's just dive right into it. A bunch of these I'm just going to have to read the patch notes out because I don't have pre-patch values for all of the attachments in the game. So with the STG44, the Constance Tactical Stock, this one had its aim down sight move speed benefit nerfed. And post-patch, you still get a 30% boost to your aim walking movement speed, which is very solid. So even after this nerf, this still gives you a great boost to that. Additionally, with the Volk this one had its general aim walking movement speed reduced. I did cover this in a previous video because I found it before the patch notes. This one was reduced from 7.9 miles per hour down to 7.4 miles per hour. So still very fast for an assault rifle, but not quite as fast as before. And on top of this, they decreased the aim walking movement speed benefit from the VDD 287mm barrel, as well as the Reisdorf 22V adjustable stock. And with the combination of all of these, previously, if we wanted the fastest possible aim walking movement speed on the Volk, we could get up to around 13 miles per hour with our aim walking movement speed. And now with all of the same attachments, the best possible aim walking movement speed build you can make with this is 10.8 miles per hour. So individually, if you just use one of these attachments, you may not notice a huge difference, but when you stack them for that maximum aim walking movement speed, this is a very noticeable nerf to the Volk. As for the Type 100, with 30 Russian short, they increased the fire rate penalty, which I did cover in the Season 3 video because I managed to pick up on that one. But here's a graphic that shows off how this affects our time to kill potential. In the 3-shot kill range, it's now 204 milliseconds to kill, which is still a very competitive time to kill, but not as fast as previously, and the same thing applies to all of the other ranges as well. Now additionally, with this reduction to our rate of fire, we also saw this affect our recoil, and with 30 Russian short, the Type 100 is actually noticeably more accurate because it simply has more time between shots to recenter. So that's the first change to the Type 100. I would say 30 Russian short is still one of your best options. It's still very viable, just not quite as good as it used to be. On top of that though, with the Sakura 196mm light barrel, this one had its aim walking movement speed benefit decreased from 8.4 miles per hour down to 8.1 miles per hour. Then with the 134mm rapid barrel, this one got an increase to its accuracy penalty. And with this, it wasn't a massive change by any means, but you can see there's a bit more side-to-side bounce post-patch while using the rapid barrel. Additionally, for the Warabachi grip folding stock, this one had its aim walking movement speed benefit decreased, so it got a little bit of a nerf there, and that pretty much covers it for the Type 100. Now let's move on to the next SMG that got changed, and this was the PPSH. With this, the first thing they mentioned is increased accuracy across the board for the PPSH. And honestly, looking at pre-patch versus post-patch, it's kind of up in the air. If anything, it maybe looks a little bit worse to me, but that's kind of the nature of random recoil plots with guns that have really high and random recoil. It's not like this patch suddenly made the PPSH an accurate gun. It's still very inaccurate. But on top of that, they also nerfed one of the barrels. This was the ZAC 300mm barrel. With this, the accuracy benefit was decreased. And as you can see there, this is quite a noticeable reduction to our recoil. It's far less accurate now with the ZAC 300mm. And they also increased the aim walking movement speed penalty for this. So that's another nerf against the ZAC 300mm. As for the Armaguera 43, the Imirto 180mm short barrel, as well as the TA skeletal stock, both of these had their aim walking movement speed benefits nerfed. So you're not going to be able to strafe as fast while using those attachments. And now let's get into what I feel is one of the most impactful changes to any of the guns from this update. This is with the Welgun, and the first thing they did to the Welgun is they decreased its damage ranges. So as you can see here, our 3-shot kill potential went from 20 meters down to about 15 meters. And then our second damage drop-off point, this is where anything after that, you have to hit all 4 shots to the torso in order to maintain a 4-shot kill range. This has been reduced from 38 meters down to about 30 meters. So that is going to be making the Welgun a little bit less consistent. But on top of that, they also increased the initial recoil that you experience when firing the Welgun. And as you can see here, pre-patch versus post-patch, there is a lot more horizontal bounce for those first, I would say 12 to 15 shots before it really settles into a nice recoil pattern. And those are the most important shots that you're going to be firing. If you also look at the jump between the first and the second bullet fired, there's a much larger jump here, and this is going to pretty significantly impact the Welgun's ability to pick people off at really long ranges. It used to be incredibly good at that, and now you're going to struggle slightly more than before. Additionally, with the Welgun, its most accurate barrel, the 320mm shrouded barrel, also got nerfed on top of this base nerf to recoil. And as you can see here, post-patch, you're going to be seeing quite a bit more recoil with this gun. I mean, it still does tighten things up nicely for that initial recoil, and it is still your best choice if you are trying to make the Welgun as accurate as possible. It's just not going to be nearly as effective as it used to be. So overall, out of any of the guns that got changed in this update, I think the Welgun definitely got hit the hardest, and it's not going to be quite as effective, especially at longer ranges. As for the next weapon that was changed, or attachments for a weapon, the base weapon wasn't adjusted at all. With the G43, both the Fitzherbert short barrel as well as the Wyvern skeletal stock have been nerfed with their aim walking movement speed benefit, so you're not going to be able to strafe as fast with those attachments, which is kind of a common theme throughout this patch. And then finally, something that was initially in the patch notes, but I'll just bring it up here again. The Gorenko anti-tank rifle with its 22mm Zach rapid barrel has had its rate of fire decreased. However, unfortunately, I didn't have any pre-patch values on that, so we are just gonna have to take their word for that one. And with that, that finally covers it for all of the weapon balancing that took place with the Season 3 update. And like I said at the beginning, I just feel like many of these changes were very strange. They were changes to guns and setups that I personally didn't really see used too often. In fact, many of these guns I almost see nobody using at all, and they were nerfing some of their attachments. Normally what you see with weapon balancing is they tone down some of these stronger guns while bringing up some of the weaker or lesser used guns in order to create a little bit more balance, as well as just to encourage more variety in the game. And I just feel like that wasn't their goal with this particular update. With the one exception maybe being the Welgun. That was a gun that was used quite a bit. It was very powerful, especially at longer ranges for an SMG. So I definitely feel like that was the type of change that I would expect to see, whereas most of the other ones, they just seemed very strange to me. Now, of course, that is just my opinion on this update, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments section below. Are you, like me, surprised with a bunch of the changes they made here, or do you think they were appropriate changes? And was there a particular gun or set of guns that you expected to be either buffed or nerfed that they didn't touch at all with this update? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.